and I got off at the airport, and Virgie continued her journey to Sri Lanka. After landing, we were picked up by an ambulance at the tarmac. Then I had to go inside the terminal to get the visa. Leaving Amma alone in the ambulance, by then my mind was filled with a lot of worries, not knowing if I would ever see Amma alive again. The immigration process was overwhelming, and the officers were unresponsive to any of my questions and concerns, making me feel unsure about ever be able to return home. By God's grace, the officers granted us the visa to enter the country. When I returned, I was relieved to find that Amma's condition has slightly improved. Afterwards, we made our way to a nearby hospital, but they denied admission thinking she was already gone. Despite of my pleading and tears, they did not change their mind. By God's grace, the paramedic helped me to find another hospital. There were some doctors, and they wanted to admit Mum and give her the care she needed. But we did not have travel insurance and chose the most affordable option of a shared room. By God's grace, the receptionist upgraded our room to a private one without any additional charges and also allowed me to stay with Amma for the entire duration of her stay. We had no change of clothes or any other essential as our bags had gone with Virgie. Abi got in touch with one of his church friends who flew from Singapore to Jakarta for his work that very morning. By God's grace, he came straight away to give us a hand. After 5 days, Amma was discharged from the hospital and we decided to fly back to Melbourne through Bali. I was worried about making to the airport, but by God's grace, our church pastor in Melbourne, he contacted his friend and they arranged transport for us. After arriving in Bali, my Amma became very sick again. I was unsure if I would be able to get back on the flight home, and my mind was filled with all kinds of worries, but God strengthened me through a sermon titled, Elundu Purapattu Po, and by God's grace, she felt better the next day. We made it to Bali airport and booked 3 tickets so Amma could recline comfortably. But the airline staff said they could only offer 1 seat per passenger. I asked if they could block out the middle seat for us. The staff said it will not be possible as it's a full flight on the day. When we boarded, we noticed that the queue was one of the longest I have ever seen. And the plane was completely full when the last passengers boarded. By God's grace, we were the only passengers with an extra seat, allowing Amma to relax and rest during the flight. As we were flying back, I was worried about her blood sugar level. By God's grace, her diabetes remained stable throughout the whole journey until we touched down Melbourne. The fear of not knowing when I'll see my husband and my son again and whether I could manage to bring Amma back safely was heavily on my mind. God was our only hope, and He carried me and Amma through the whole time. We ended up in a country we didn't plan to go, didn't know the people, didn't speak the language, but God's grace was with us. My knowledge failed me, my confidence failed me, but God did not fail, not even a single moment. ஒரு கருப்போல காத்தீரே நன்றி, என்னை சிதையாமல் சுமந்தீரே நன்றி. எபினேசரே எபினேசரே, இந்நாள் வரை சுமந்தவரே. எபினேசரே எபினேசரே, என் நினைவாயிருப்பவரே. Psalms 34 says, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked unto me, and they looked unto him, and they were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles." I give all glory and praise to God for this opportunity to stand here and share his testimony.